Hey, what's up, everybody? Quick tutorial today. I'm going to make it as brief as I can, but we got to talk about a few things here. So, in our industry, there's this idea of a switch. Okay. So, most people are thinking just this thigh switch, which is fine, right? There's a lot of elements you could do to train that. Okay. So, there's a lot of different mechanisms and strategies to enhance that portion of the gait or the sprint cycle, right? We know that. Um, but at the same time, like, let's make this very practical. I asked my 11-year-old son, so the best football player in his league, the fastest kid, and the slowest football player in his league, slowest kid, right? Which one their legs are moving faster? Well, what do you know? He picked the faster kid. So at the same time, like, yes, amazing research is done out there, but we also know, yeah, faster kids move their thighs faster. Faster sprinters move their thighs faster. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way real quick, because again, there's a switch element to the thighs. Right now, I want to talk about the feet. Okay. So what I want to discuss with the feet is a replacing mechanism. Like if one foot's on the ground, that's how you're anchoring yourself. That's how you're propelling yourself forward, right? Unless we're talking about like amputees, that's a different discussion. We could have that. We're not having that right now. We're talking about individuals that put their foot on the ground and then they put their next foot on the ground. How are you training that? What's the element? What's the sequence? What's the timing like? Well, we know that a false step is very effective. It's very like innate because the athletes are doing it almost automatically, right? Set up the team sport athletes on the line, boom, blow the whistle, say go, boom, boom, every single time, right? So let's use that to our advantage. Okay, we can teach, hey, be in a bent position, be in a squatted position, whatever you want to call it, semantics, right? This leg is up before this leg hits the ground. See, this is what most people would teach. They teach punch, drive through. Yeah, opposite. Okay, not good timing. So what we're gonna actually do then is the complete opposite. Before this leg hits, this leg has to come off the ground. But now the correspondence is higher to sport. Why? Because I can go full speed, even though it's a drill. Let's say it could be an early acceleration type of drill. First off, but correspondence full speed, application of force. It's not vertical and it's not just horizontal like people are talking about. There's a combination, but really it's a rotational element. I'm anchoring my foot in the ground, shin drop over the top, hip pop forward. Okay. Um, and then what we can also focus on is adding layers to it. So if you really care about the thigh switch, then add something to it. But the only element most people have that I was taught for like 15 years prior to the last 5 years, the only thing I was ever taught for thigh switch is punch and hammer down. So now we have at least 3 or 4 additional strategies or methods to enhance the thigh switching. Okay, so you can add that on to the replacement of the feet, or if you want to call it switching of the feet, it's just semantics. You can call it whatever you want in this field, right? That's been established. So drill for you to play around with is the timing or sequencing of replacing your feet. That's it. Before this foot hits and strikes, this one's coming off, right? And then you can work on different elements of the downside leg. You can work different elements of the top leg. You can work different elements of your trunk and core. You layer those on to the drills, right? And then they're not separate deconstructed drills, right? So again, the correspondence is high because I'm not deconstructing and decontextualizing all the movements and saying like, I'm going to break you down to a robot and only work arms. I'm only going to work on foot stiffness. Well, like first off, foot stiffness, everybody in the world knows that you would not want your foot to collapse and be mush. No one's teaching that. I've never heard that in the last 20 years. You might have. I have not heard that. Okay, so we know there's an element of foot stability, ankle stability, but how do you teach it? Again, that's the thing. What strategy are you using? You can use a strategy for ankle and foot stiffness on top of a drill like an intentional false step. Okay, something to think about. Play around with it. Have some fun.